Good day, everybody. I am Sue Johnston, just in case you haven't met me before. Oh, and welcome to new subscribers. Thank you so much for dropping by and joining in. Who knows where all of this could take us, but it's a big adventure and hopefully a fun one. So today I'm going to talk about my progress on the Kle Shawlette and what's happening there, and wrinkles in wool, which I've touched on previously in a video in May, but there's different aspects of this in this one. So wrinkles in wool and wrinkles in relationship. So if you want, you can sort of skip ahead to maybe the middle portion and just hear the wrinkles in relationship part. Anyway, thanks for dropping by. So what's happening with my Kle shawl or shawlette? This is what's happening. I had to take it all apart. And here's why. I did struggle and then eventually mastered the lace part or the intricate work of the edging. And that was fine. I had to train myself how to do it, as we do in most of our knitting. And I eventually spaced out the different sections, the 10 pattern repeat with what do they call them? Knit markers. And that helped. And I eventually got to a certain point where I was ready to do all the short rows to create the shawl. And then I realized I don't have enough wool. I went back to the pattern, and this is something I didn't know before. I went into Ravelry and I looked at projects, and I read all the notes from people that had made this Kle shawl and found out that many of them had the same problem, that they needed more wool. I wasn't about to go out and spend another $28 on a ball of wool to finish this project, which also, in the comments on Ravelry, many women were saying it was just too small. So the whole project was not a loss to me. I did learn how to make the lace, and I loved it. And I actually knit up the lace in a different wool for a different pattern, and I attached it to a shawl that I have, and I love it. It was a bit tricky because it was like 360 stitches on my circular needles, and even though there was only 12 rows to repeat, it was just the repeat of going through those 10 stitches and getting to the end of 360 stitches all together. But I did manage it. And so I completed my project. Working on the Kle Shawlette, which I have now abandoned as a pattern, I'm not going to make one. But working on it taught me how to make that intricate lace work, and I really enjoyed that. I loved the lace work. Once I got the knack of those 10 stitch repeats, it was a piece of cake, like everything. Everything that we have difficulty with and struggle with, if we keep at it, eventually we can learn the skill, the technique, the pattern, the rhythm, and we can get a successful outcome. So that's true in knitting. It's true in a lot of other life events as well. Experience gives us confidence, and confidence gives us that strength to continue on and keep moving forward. And then you have your successful end result. Wrinkles in our lives. Might be a little bit easier to get out of with wool, but maybe not the relationships that we're in. Now, I can pull apart a knitting garment, rewind the wool into a skein, put the wool under warm water and watch the wrinkles gradually smooth out into straight lines. That'd be fairly easy to do. It's actually fun to watch. It may not be possible to smooth out life's wrinkles with warm water, although sometimes a woman thinks taking a warm bath will soothe a lot of things. Whenever I research the term wrinkle, it usually brings up some sort of discussion on wrinkles in our skin. You know, wrinkles, wrinkles. But that's not the kind of wrinkles I'm talking about. The term wrinkles can be a noun or a verb. This is not your English lesson. The way I'm thinking about it, it's more like a verb, something that happens to create a division, a line of demarcation, a fold, a fault in our planes, and what we are experiencing. Getting engaged at the age of 25 was a fun event for me, but then there was a wrinkle when he decided to go back to the previous girl he was engaged to. But then he came back. Both those events were wrinkles. And every time there was an affair, that was a wrinkle. Unfortunately, I had to go through those things. But I always tried to smooth things out because I'm a very committed person, and I was trying to keep the family together for the sake of the children, which, as they grew older and became young adults, they explained to me that that was trying to iron out wrinkles. That was a huge mistake. They wished I hadn't done that. Life. A large wrinkle in life is when you are accepted for a certain job, and then the government decides, or people in charge decide, that there's somebody more qualified for the position, and they lift you out of that, and they put someone else in. I've had that happen to me twice, at least twice that I can recall. So what are you going to do when that happens? That's a big wrinkle. So what do you do when you experience a wrinkle in life? You can try to sort it out, iron it out, fix it, accept it, deal with it, wish it wasn't there. I think we have to accept that there will be wrinkles in life, some great and some small, some minor, some annoying. Some of them will put pressure on us. Probably the first thing that we have to do is accept that there will be wrinkles. And then we process our thoughts and feelings, and we make some decisions. And we can say to ourselves, now how am I going to handle this? What attitude am I going to take? What action will I take, if there is any action? I can tell you how I tend to handle wrinkles. And probably the first thing I say to myself is acceptance. You know, this is our reality. We have to just accept that whatever's happening is happening. And so we ask ourselves how we're going to handle it. You know, take on certain attitudes and actions, and realize that we actually still have choices. So I say to myself, well, this is what I've got. How am I going to handle it? What will I do now? And depending on what resources and circumstances I have to manage the wrinkles, whatever I have can determine the outcome, potentially determine the outcome. So I might look at my resources and make some decisions. And one thing I'm going to try to do is to avoid the pity party. That's just not me. Although it's sometimes, you know, you may feel a little bit in the dumps about what's going on, and that's normal. You're going to grieve the changes. So we can grieve over the wrinkles, but then we have to come to a place where we just say, okay, what am I going to do here, and how am I going to manage? How am I going to make the decisions I need to make? What resources can I pull in? And sometimes those resources are supports, people that you have around you to encourage you. So, wrinkles, oh, what can I tell you? These ones, they're going to stay, and they're going to, in my case, in a lot of seniors' cases, they're going to grow. And the hope is, I think, that as we age and get into our senior years, that we're going to have fewer wrinkles. I don't think we have fewer necessarily, but I think we do have a repertoire of experience to draw on to help us manage it a lot easier, to make shorter counts. So, tell me about your wrinkles and how you manage them. Wouldn't it be lovely if the wrinkles that we experience in life could simply be put under warm water and we watch them disappear? Now, that works for wool, but it doesn't work in relationship. In relationship, we have options. We can draw on the experience of others. We can read about how to fix things. But definitely we need a strategic plan in order to learn how to manage and how to make things go a little bit more smooth. With wool, after I have wound the skein and then I have smoothed out the wrinkles with some warm water, I just lay out my skein on my drying rack, let nature run its course. So thanks for watching. Thanks for staying here this full length of time, which I don't think is too much time. Anyway, we hope to see you again. And even though I don't actually get to see you, um, thumbs up, comment in the section below, and share your thoughts. See you next time.